Lower Paxton Township Manager, and in typical fashion, I'm going to give a brief summary of this evening's agenda before we begin, particularly for the benefit of those who may be watching at home on television. This is a business meeting of the board. Under new business, the board will take action to award a contract for the 2022 traffic line painting project, after which the board will take action to approve an application for payment for the Brightville Park resurfacing project in conjunction with the Parks Revitalization Plan. After this, the board will take action on the final adjusting change order for the 2021 sanitary sewer improvements project, after which the board will then approve of an intergovernmental cooperation agreement for the preparation of another intergovernmental agreement with the Capital Region Water, after which the board will take action on a number of subdivision and land development action items to include a preliminary and final subdivision plan, as well as discussion on another development to potentially occur on Linglestown Road, followed by improvement guarantees and the payment of township and authority bills, following any lasting announcements, and finally a motion to adjourn. With all that said, members of the board are seated and prepared to conduct business. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Gottschall. We'll call this meeting of the Lower Paxton Township Board of Supervisors to order. I'd like to ask everyone to please rise, and Supervisor Judd will lead us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And I see we have no minutes to approve. We will go then to public comment. Before we do public comment, I would like to announce the board did meet in executive session prior to this meeting to discuss personnel issues, and we'll be doing so following. Public comment is the time set aside for anybody to address the board on an item not on the agenda tonight. If you were here to talk about an item on the agenda, well, we will do that at that time. So would anybody like to address the board on an item not on the agenda? Mr. Minsker, I thought you were to be on vacation this week.
Good evening, members of the board. For your information, if you're not aware of it, before the General Assembly adjourned for its recess, they passed a bill on fireworks. There are a number of provisions in that bill which affect some of the conversations that have been going on here within the last few meetings. The most interesting ones I noticed, there's a 150-foot barrier between buildings, which affects me. By the way, I didn't introduce myself. I'm Bill Minsker, 5956 Linglestown Road, rear, in Linglestown. This new provision would mean that no fireworks could occur in the village of Linglestown proper.
Well, that bill that's in the existing law.
I'm sorry?
Isn't the 150-foot setback in the existing law?
I don't know that.
Yeah,
It is.
It is.
Aha, so then they continued that.
Yes.
Another provision is that you may set provisions for outlawing all use of fireworks in the township if you would so desire, or require permits, which I don't know that that's currently in the law. And the third part is that there are two times when fireworks are really permissible at the 2nd, 3rd, 4th of July and New Year's Eve. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know if you're so much aware of that, but I think it's something that should be looked into with all the concern that was being expressed after the 4th
And I
of
did,
July.
Brad, I talked to you a little bit, and I had asked our manager if could have our solicitor, because I read the law, and I talked to some people involved in the legislative process, and I still couldn't get a handle on if it changed our authority or what more it allows us to do and things like that. So I'm eager to see what, if anything, this does for us.
I especially like the provision that you can set up a regulation that permits need to be issued before fireworks can be set off, which that I think is something we should consider.
And I wasn't sure if that was for the ones we're talking about in the neighborhoods, or if that's simply about these display ones that we do for big organized organizations. But I'm eager to see what's in there.
Yes, so am I. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Would anybody else like to address the board under public comment? Okay, seeing none, chairman and board member comments. Board members, do we have any comments? Robin?
I have a lot.
Yeah.
At 5:30 this evening, the Board of Supervisors, Manager Gutschall, Director Bill Weaver, we had our stormwater consultant Randy Allen, Jason Hines from HRG, and two of the ladies from Susquehanna Township. We went over and we had a ribbon cutting at the Stonebridge Apartments, which are along Colonial Road, and that was a humongous stormwater project that we did complete. So your stormwater money is being put to work. So if you get a chance, go over to Stonebridge and look what Lower Paxton Township has done with the stormwater. Also on Saturday, there was the 5K race at the Friendship YMCA put on by Lower Paxton Township Parks and Rec. It was a very nice morning because it wasn't real hot. There was about 40 participants, and the first young man came through in 17 minutes and 8 seconds. So that was like a record for the 5K. So thank you to the Parks and Recreation staff for being out there. We were there at 6 o'clock in the morning, but it was a great morning. So also there's going to be a concert on Friday night at Heroes Grove, Smooth Like Clyde. It is free, and that will be from 7 to 8:30. We've had a TNR program for 2.5 years, and the program is working. This year, for 2022, through June of 2022, we've paid out 58 vouchers, and that was 230 kittens that were not born. For the 2.5 years that we have had the TNR program, we have prevented 1,032 kittens from being born. So if you would like to volunteer, please go to our website. We're always looking for volunteers to help trap. We do have the traps. The police department does have 14 traps that we loan out. So if you are interested, like I said, we can always use volunteers.
Robin, explain what TNR is.
So it's trap, neuter, and return. So you trap them. If you know you're going to trap and you get an appointment to have them neutered and spayed, you come into the police department. They will give you a voucher. Then, and you have to say that you know where you have an appointment at, and that voucher is paid for, so you don't have to pay for anything. We have money in our budget for this program, and we take care of it. So it is a good program, and it is working. And we do see in the 2.5 years, Mr. Judd and I met with our community service officer and one of our big volunteers, Larry Wasser, on Friday, and the program is working. The numbers are going down.
The reason we did it, Robin, is because we had neighbors that were being overrun with cats, and we needed a plan. And so the ordinance the law is you should not be feeding wild cats unless you are part of this program, which is humane and has appeared to alleviate at least some of the problem for our residents.
Right now we're down to what we know of as one large colony. When we started this program, we had a lot of large colonies, and there are some small ones, but the volunteers are taking. So again, if you want to go to the website and sign up to volunteer, we'd appreciate it. Last night, Mr. Zumas and I were the delegates to the Council of Government. We represent the township. We attended the meeting. We had speakers last night. The first one was the Keystone Traffic Group, and they are traffic signal maintenance agreements. So he was giving us a lot of statistics. And in District 8, which is Cumberland, Perry, Lebanon, York, and Dauphin County, there are 552 traffic lights. 43 lights are in Lower Paxton Township. 95 lights are in Harrisburg City. So Harrisburg City is the number 1 in District 8, and we're number 2. So didn't know if you knew that, Tim. Okay, and then the second speaker was Buchart and Horn. They are architectural design engineers, and they talked about how they design, municipal buildings, whether they're building it from the ground up or if they're doing any renovating. But they also touch base on the electric charging stations that they are putting in for municipalities, because it is the future, and we never know when we might have to do it ourselves. So, did you want to add anything, Mr. Zumas, from last night?
I was the driver.
He's my Uber driver. Okay, I think that's all I have, Lemon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anybody else? Nobody else? Okay. That brings us to the manager's report. Mr. Gottschall.
Yes, sir, members of the board. As the board knows, I've tried to make it a practice of introducing from time to time new members of staff for the benefit of obviously the board in meeting your staff members, but as well as introducing those staff members to the general public who may be watching. And this evening, we do have two of those individuals with us, joining us this evening, and they are Alexander Manikis and Lyle Gaines. So, gentlemen, if you would please maybe make your way up to the podium so that people can view you. Lyle, do you want to come on up as well? Join Alex here. And so Alex began with the township on May 2nd as the GIS technician, filling the role upon the departure of Hannah Brown, who had moved out of state. Alex, a graduate of Chambersburg Area School District, holds a bachelor's degree from Shippensburg and is currently attending HAC for an additional diploma in geospatial technology. Prior to his role with the township, Mr. Manikis worked in the private sector, performing site surveys and environmental work. Mr. Lyle Gaines joined the team on July 11th, succeeding Kay Langle as the township's human resources manager. Upon her retirement, after a dedicated career in HR with both the county and then finally right here at the township. Mr. Gaines holds a bachelor's degree from Central Penn College, a master's of ministry from Andersonville Theological Seminary, and is also pursuing his doctorate degree in theology at also Andersonville Theological Seminary. Lyle joins the township, bringing decades of HR experience, having recently joined us from the U.S. Postal Service, where he served tours as postmaster for several of the largest cities right here in Pennsylvania, and then finally as the district manager of labor relations at the Central PA district as well. Also of interest in Mr. Gaines' background is his experience as an adjunct faculty member at Central Penn, as well as being a certified arbitrator. So certainly experience that will be of use to us in the realm of HR. So I know that both Lyle and Alex will bring their particular experiences to good use here within the township, and I certainly welcome them both to the staff, and we'll look forward to continuing to work with both of those gentlemen. So, Alex, I like to always ask staff one question for the board and for the public is, what excites you the most about getting to work here at Lower Paxton Township?
I think what's most exciting and what I'm looking forward to most is actually making a meaningful impact through local government to make the township a better community.
Great, thank you.
And Lyle, how about you, sir? The same question to you as well.
Well, what drives me the most is I love working with people, and I always say HR is the conscience of the organization, and I get to work with people every day, and I get to do what I love. So it doesn't seem like work. So I just thank you for the opportunity, and I've enjoyed the short time I've been here, and I look forward to many more days to come.
Very good. Thank you.
Welcome, guys.
Yeah,
Welcome aboard, both of you.
welcome.
And that is all I have this evening,
Oh, okay.
members. Thank you.
Very good. Excellent. We have no old business, but we have a lot of new business tonight. And we will begin by taking action to award a contract for the 2022 traffic line painting project. Mr. Nolt, I see you are here, and you can give us, I'm assuming, a fairly routine report on this?
Yes. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, bids were opened on July 6th for the township's 2022 traffic line painting project. We received one bid. It was from Alpha Space Control Company in the amount of $103,150.50. The scope of work includes repainting all of the center lines and fog lines on township roads, as well as repainting some thermoplastic lining, thermoplastic markings, which is like the stop bars and the directional arrows that you see. Usually when we receive only one bid, it's a cause of concern, but in this case, with the contractor that submitted the bid, Alpha has been a trusted partner with the township for over 20 years. They've performed this identical scope of work many times, and we've had really good experience with them. So we're confident that they can complete this work, and that's why we're recommending that the board award the contract to Alpha Space Control. And I can answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions, board members?
Sure. Yeah, how often do you have to repaint?
Every year.
We do it every year.
Every year?
Yeah. Now, there's some exception there, like we take out the areas where mini basin projects, the sewer projects are going on, just because it's part of their contract.
And Tim, how many miles of road are we up to right now?
200 and I believe it's around 220, which would be, road miles. So then lane miles would be double, approximately double that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, hearing none. Is there a motion?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we award the contract for the 2022 traffic line painting project to Alpha Space Control Incorporated, the amount of $150,050.50.
So moved. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you, Mr. Knoll. We need to take action now to approve application for payment number 3 from JNS Paving and Excavating Corporation for the Brightville Park resurfacing project. Mr. Godshall.
Yes, sir. Members of the board, pay application number 3 authorizes payment in the amount of $6,637.50 to the contractor JNS Paving and Excavating Corp. On the township's Brightville Park basketball resurfacing project. As I'd mentioned, this is in conjunction with the ongoing parks revitalization project, which impacts most of the parks within the township. So this application has been reviewed and recommended by the township engineer and staff, and is hereby presented to the board for approval this evening.
Very good. Any board questions or comments?
This is the last payment, right?
Yes, this will be the last payment, yes.
Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve application for payment number 3 from JNS Paving and Excavating Corporation for the Brightville Park resurfacing project in the amount of $6,637.50.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Action now needed on the final adjusting change order with Pact One LLC for the 2021 sanitary sewer improvement project. Mr. Gottschall again.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, change order number 1 with contractor Pact One LLC, simply reconciles the estimated contract quantities with the actual quantities installed, and also adjusts the substantial and final completion dates. This is actually a pleasant change order for the board this evening, decreasing the original contract price by $123,407.
Wow.
That's a good one.
Yes. Change order number 1 as well has been reviewed and recommended to the board this evening by Township Engineer as well as staff.
Any questions? Probably best not to question this. Is there a motion?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve action on the final adjusting change order with PAC One LLC for the 2021 sanitary sewer improvement project in the amount of minus $123,407.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we need to approve the intergovernmental cooperation agreement for the preparation of an IMA with Capital Region Water. IMA being intermunicipal agreement? Mr. Godshall?
Correct, sir. That is correct. Yes, sir. Board members, this intergovernmental cooperation agreement between the townships of Lower Paxton, Swedera, and Susquehanna, the boroughs of Pembroke, Paxtang, and Steelton, and the authorities of Lower Paxton, Swedera, and Susquehanna, essentially establishes the framework by which the intermunicipal agreement with Capital Region Water will be negotiated. In this cooperation agreement, the parties agree to essentially appoint Lower Paxton Township as the lead coordinator in the CRW IMA negotiations, as well as permits the engagement of a rate consultant at a cost not to exceed $20,000 to assist with the negotiations. The cost of such rate consultant shall be paid on a proportional share among the parties of this cooperation agreement. So essentially, they are the two major issues with regard to this intergovernmental cooperation agreement.
Okay, this is a new item before us, so are there any questions, board members? Or any public questions or comments? Okay. That being the case, would anybody care to make a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve the intergovernmental cooperation agreement for the preparation of an IMA with Capital Region Water not to exceed $20,000.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Mr. Godshall, you get a little bit of a break, and we'll now go to Mrs. Zerby. Good evening.
Good evening.
Subdivision and land development plans, we need to take action to approve a preliminary and final subdivision plan for the Molinelli addition.
Yes, the preliminary final subdivision plan for the Molinari addition proposes to subdivide Lot 2A from Lot 2 and combine it with Lot 1 as an add-on lot. After the subdivision, Lot 1 will have a total area of 41,210 square feet, and Lot 2 will be reduced to a total area of 35,271 square feet. Lot 2 is a pre-existing non-conforming lot and will continue the same after the subdivision. The lots are in the R1 low-density residential district. Lot 1 is served by public sewer and water supply, and Lot 2 will remain having public sewer and private water supply. The plan was approved at the July 6, 2022 Planning Commission meeting, and the applicant has requested 3 waivers, and staff recommends approval for all 3 of those waivers. There are only 4 administrative comments and 2 general comments to satisfy prior to recording. And Anthony Trost is here if you have any questions for the applicant.
Okay. Mr. Trask would come to the podium and make any comments, sir, that you care to make, and then the board will have any questions.
No, Mrs. Irby described the plan pretty well. We have reviewed all staff comments and have no issue with any of the outs.
Board members, any questions? Any public questions? Oh, you're getting off very easy tonight. Okay, with that, is there a motion?
Sure, Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the subdivision and land development, approve on a subdivision plan for the Molinelli Addition Plan Number 22-12 as presented by Mrs. Zerby.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
There you go.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your being here. Okay, 9B, we have to have now a discussion on Crown Center's traffic signal installation letter of concurrence. So, Mr. Gao, are you taking that one?
Sure,
I see
yes.
this is a presentation, so go right ahead.
Sure, thank you. Well, as the board is aware, it's, this would typically be a workshop agenda item with the cancellation of last week's item. We unfortunately had to get this agenda item on tonight's meeting agenda simply with regard to the timing issues that Triple Crown is under, trying to get all this together. So please bear with us in having a discussion tonight. So just to give you some background, a very quick and high-level background, as most of the board is aware, the Triple Crown has before the township, at this point, township staff, a plan along Lingelstown Road that originated in 2004, but has had several iterations up until this point for a number of reasons. But most recently in 2019 and then in 2020, Triple Crown has been before both the Planning Commission as well as this Board of Supervisors to discuss this development. And this is at the location of the current Bumblebee Hollow property along Lingelstown Road. And so at this point, back in 2020, both the Planning Commission and the Board of Supervisors had recommended to Triple Crown that they move forward with a traffic study to get that ball rolling. And in having conversations with PennDOT, PennDOT is now asking essentially that Triple Crown provide to it letters of recommendation or letters of concurrence or recommendation providing input as to their stance relative to a traffic signal along Lingelstown Road. So if you had a chance to review, HRG has a letter in the board's packet serving as its letter of concurrence to that question. And now the township is in a position to also provide to PennDOT a letter. And this letter, as HRG's letter outlines very well, does not necessarily provide support to the traffic signal, but merely comments on the traffic signal and provides a commentary as to its understanding of the need of the traffic signal given the development's particular placement. So Triple Crown at this point is unable to provide any other alternative to the traffic signal. They must have a traffic signal if they wish for this development to move forward. And so in that way, they must provide to PennDOT a letter of concurrence on that question. And so that's where the discussion is now with the board. I felt it appropriate to bring that to the board as a question rather than having staff just provide that letter. I think it's appropriate that the governing body provide staff the approval to move forward with providing that letter.
By way of background, the reason why it's not going to continue to be operated by Bumblebee is?
Great question. I could provide some summary on that, but Amanda may be more suited to provide that.
Public understanding of what's happening here.
Triple Crown has owned Bumblebee for many, many years, and, well, prior to 2004, and I think the option always was to do this development. I mean, the first plan came in 2004.
The issue at hand really stems from the conservation districts. The Manada Conservation has a conservation swath to the rear of Bumblebee Hollow, and I guess it's coming to a point now at which the conservation is essentially making Bumblebee Hollow cease operations within that swath of land, which
Yes.
would essentially close the business.
They
at
can't
that
hit
point.
any golf balls beyond
area.
a very small area without the balls going into the conservation easement.
Well, Chris, you wouldn't have that
Yeah, I
problem.
was gonna say, what if I just was the only person hitting the ball?
You only need 10 or 20 yards for some of us.
No, this has been looming for a while. I'm really disappointed, but it's a whole bunch of factors beyond our control.
Amanda, I have a question. I used the word development. So is it a retail development? What are they looking to do there?
So we had a plan, I don't know if Brad can pull it up or not. The plan that they had before you in 2020 shows a building kind of along the lines of a Blue Ridge retail space, and then several out parcels along the front of Lingelstown Road. So at the beginning of this, there were to be 58 residential townhouses back on that second lot. But now with that conservation easement, that plan has gone away, and it will only be the retail
Retail.
space.
So you have the light at Colonial Road and Lingelstown.
Right.
And then you're talking like a block down the road, they're gonna do another one, and then there's one a block down the road. So are they hoping that all those signals are gonna be concurrent, and when one turns green, they're all gonna turn green? I'm just thinking, are you gonna have a backup, with people making left-hand turns in there?
Right,
Well-
and I think that's part of the PennDOT requirements. I'm not certain,
Okay.
but I believe they'll have to be timed.
Yeah, and through the county, we're looking at the potential of a PennDOT demonstration project through that corridor with the traffic lights. So hopefully that, as you know, that is traffic is a significant issue in that area. I'm sure another traffic light is not going to help the situation, but hopefully the PennDOT demonstration project will allow us to get all the traffic signals on the same page.
Because the lot beside it, I'm sure someday will be developed also. So, there's gonna have to be a left-hand turn going in there also.
So there could be some sort of collaboration between those two lots, and I will say that through the last couple of years, we've met with Triple Crown and their engineers several times. Their original hope was to get some sort of an easement through the properties that would go out to that light that comes
Oh,
out from
gotcha.
the
Okay.
apartments, but that they have had no success in getting easements through the other properties and getting the ability to go out to that light, which is creating this issue.
Which would make sense because you go in and out one way for all those properties.
Right.
And instead of having each of them turning, onto Lingelstown Road.
Right.
That could be a nightmare.
So Amanda, where's the holdup? The people that own the other properties aren't cooperating?
There would be 3 other property owners that would have to buy into that, and they haven't had that happen.
Do you think that's what PennDOT would require in order to put that light in there?
The light that they're proposing now?
Yeah.
No, this light that they're proposing is because all else failed with the negotiations for the other properties.
Wow, I just can't see all those different areas coming on to Lingelstown Road. Wow.
And the-
So Brad, what are you asking of us?
Yes, that's a great question, Mr. Henry. Again, at this point, I'm asking that the board, I'm asking to gauge the board's willingness to have staff just write a letter mirroring that of HRG's, which merely, again, comments on the fact that we understand all else has failed. There are no other options for this development. It's not going to provide township support for the signal, but merely saying, yes, we understand there are no other options for this development at this time. So if the board has no objection to that, that would be my question. staff would go ahead and move forward with drafting that letter and sending it off to Triple Cram.
And the state would have the last say.
Oh, certainly, yeah, this is not, this is, yeah, it has to go through all the other
Right.
processes and, yep, and through the other subdivision and land development processes as well, so this is still a long ways away, but
Okay, does anybody have any objection with staff proceeding as outlined by Mr. Gottrell? Okay. Then you may proceed.
thank you, sir.
Okay, with that, we now can move to improvement guarantees. Any questions about the somewhat numerous improvement guarantees this week? Nobody needs to recuse from any of these? If there are no questions, is there a motion to approve the improvement guarantees?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we improve the improvement guarantees. Plowrin Ridge Drive, Devon Roads, Tatella Court, Mindy Drive, Estates of Forest Hills, Estates of Union Deposit, Parkway East, Estates of Alden Oaks, Phase 1B, and Amesbury.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
This brings us to the payment of bills for Lower Paxton Township and the Lower Paxton Township Authority. Mr. Treasurer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that we approve the payment of the bills for Lower Paxton Township and the Lower Paxton Township Authority.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any additional announcements? Hearing none, the next meeting of the Board of Supervisors will be a workshop meeting, and not until Tuesday, August 9th at 7 p.m., and that is because the August 2nd meeting is canceled because it is National Night Out. And we encourage all members of our community to come to National Night Out at George Park. And it's a great time to come out and meet members of our police department, our fire departments, our EMS, and a whole wide range of community organizations. So that will be on Tuesday, August 2nd. Therefore, no meeting of this board. Our next meeting again will be on Tuesday, August 9th at 7 p.m., a workshop meeting. With that, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? Second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.